Hello, welcome back to tutorial number 2. We're going to do, to begin with, we need to start with a layer, one layer, and we're also going to need another layer. So click on New Layer. So we do have two layers, and the first layer we'll call Shapes, and the second layer we'll call Numbers. And we can also add another one if we wanted to for letters. Okay, so we have three layers here. The first step we need to do is to click on Shapes layout, and we're going to now click on here, go over to the Shape tool, the oval tool, and let's now select the rectangle tool, the rectangle shape. Okay. We just change the fill color for a sec to black. Okay, now holding the shift key down, just open up the rectangle or the square till you have a nice square shape. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is actually go over to about frame 40, and we're going to hold down the shift key on all of these frames. Now we're going to insert timeline. We're going to insert a keyframe for all of them. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, we're going to now delete that black square we have there at that point. And instead of that, we're going to go back to the Shapes tool, and we'll select an oval. Now what we want to do is to draw a circle or an oval. We'll stick with the circle. Okay, so we can see that now, scrolling along, we have a square, now we have a circle. And we just reposition this circle to about where the square is. Now what we're going to do is to click in the center here and add Shape Tween. So insert Shape Tween. At frame 1, we'll see once we press enter that it starts to now change from a square to a circle. That's quite interesting. Now we should change the color of this one too. We can change it to possibly a blue or red. We'll go for red. The outline also will actually change to red. So if we come back again and we press enter, we're now changing from black to red. A black square to a red circle. Okay, so the next step we're going to do is go up to the next layer, here, which is numbers, and we're going to click on the first frame. Coming to the text tool, we're going to now put in just here a number 1, and clicking on the selection tool, bring that number 1 up to about there. Now obviously that's a bit big, so we need to resize that number. So coming over to the size, bring it down to around about, say around about 300 points would be adequate enough for this exercise. And now let go. So we've got a number 1 there. Now if we just copy that, Command C or Control C, come over to the last keyframe, and then edit and paste in place. So we have the same number there and the same number there. So we're going to change that now by clicking on it to a number 2. But we're going to change it to a blue number 2. So we're going over to the color palette, changing that to blue, and that's what the effect we want there. Okay, so if we come over to here and press enter, we can see now we changed from 1 to 2, but we need now to put into the center a shape tween. So in order to do that, with the numbers, because they're not recognized as shapes, we now need to actually break apart. So by clicking on that and go modify, go break apart. And the same with the number 2 on frame 40. Modify, break apart. Now it gives us the opportunity to put a shape tween on this layer. So insert by clicking on the layer, insert shape tween. Now if we come up to frame number 1, press enter or return, we can see now we're starting to see square shape and number shape change. Okay, the next step is to come up to the letters layer, and by choosing the text tool again, we come over to here and we put in the letter A. And we double click on that one and we change the color to, say, green. So let's see, change it to the green color. Okay, and the outline can also be green. Now let's bring that up a little bit higher. So let's copy that one too. Putting that where it was supposed to be, paste in place. Okay, we're now going to copy and paste that in place. So we have a letter A at the beginning in frame 1 and the letter A at the end in frame 40. So we need to now change that over to a letter B. And changing that to also to a different color, we need to change that now to maybe choosing something easy to see. Pink is pretty easy to see. Okay, so we also need to come back to the frame 1 and choose modify, and we need to break apart so we can actually create a shape tween on this. So break apart at frame 1, modify, break apart on frame 40. Click in the center, insert shape tween. Come back to frame 1 and then press Command Enter, Command Return, Control Enter, Control Return. Now we can start to see we have shape, number and letter changing shape and morphing using the shape tween. And that completes the lesson for shape tweening. Thank you very much.